What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am getting ready to interview Chris Hallows in Flagstaff, Arizona, by the locals known as Flag. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, Dave. Good to see you, man.
I got that right. Like locals call it Flag.
Locals call it Flag. Yep, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and the big phrase is "Don't Phoenix Flag," right? We like our little 7,000 foot community, no cactus, ski resort. It's not the Arizona you think.
I know it is so beautiful. I only know that because I have relatives in the Sedona area, and so I have family, in that market. So I am really looking forward to our interview. It's been too long. I think last time I interviewed you, it was pre-COVID, and I don't remember if it was a fix and flip, if it was a house I just know you were working on a house that I think was an investment. Was it a fix and flip or was it an investment property?
Yeah, so I'm a buy and hold guy, and I think it's kind of right in COVID. So we've definitely, I'm up to, let's see, I got to count 5 long-term rental properties that I manage in my current market. We were renovating our primary, so I'm wondering if that's that we did a move up reno, and then and I actually am just finishing up, fingers crossed, a renovation in Sedona. So I'm going to do a luxury Airbnb there.
Oh, sweet. Well, that's a treat. I didn't even know I was going to get into a mortgage professional that is data-driven mortgage advisor. So this guy is clearly doing all the right things right as it pertains to technology. He's incredible local professional, and he's a real estate investor. I kind of knew you did that because of the last interview, but I didn't know that you were buying and holding. You had 5 properties. Congratulations.
Yep. Love, yeah. Just don't know where this is ever going. Love to grind as hard as I can in the mortgage industry, but it's like, and it really started where we're sharing these cost analysis and we're sharing market data with people. Like, why not? It's not insider trading for me to buy real estate, right? Why not use this information? Because I know, like, now's the deal. Get the freaking deal. But when I have 5 rental properties under 3.25 on rate, some in the 2s, it's like I don't know. I'm not the savviest investor on all sorts of different fronts in stock market and that type of thing, but I know real estate pretty good.
So I interviewed Cody Touche, who is a big producer in the Seattle market. You'll want to watch this, and I do believe that even when rates come down again, people that have a loan that's locked in at 2% and 3%, they're not going to be as likely to sell it and move up. So I think we really got to get after the first-time home buyer market. I think we, I recommend every loan officer is a first-time home buyer specialist. And then I do think there'll be a lot of move-up opportunities because I think a lot of folks that have that home locked in at 2, they rent it out and move up. And so being able to be that loan officer that can have that conversation, I think is going to be a very important skill in 2023 and beyond. So bring me up to speed on how you're doing. You're a branch. I remember you went, I think the first time I interviewed you, you were going from being a loan partner to being a full-time top producer. And what's the typical number of loans you closed in past years?
So, and it's always the loaded, we've adapted hopefully well, right? We hit a nice peak in 2020 at 110 mil, did 80 mil last year. Right now we'll round out with about 50. So, but the beauty of that is it's like 95% purchase. So to see our purchase volume actually grow year over year, even though the cream is off the top, we're feeling positive about 50.
Well, I think that's a good metric. I mean, obviously, beating last year's productions when refis are gone is not very realistic for most people, but to hear that you actually have grown your purchase market share, guys, I mean, that's winning in this market. So what are some of the things that you pivoted to, last year's? People were doing a lot of appraisal gap, TCAs. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've done that's different this year or that you're doing this year as an advisor?
Well, I think the big thing really is I'm big on education and standing out in my branding, being the educator, and Mortgage Coach and utilizing that tool is like hand in hand right with that, right? I do a monthly mastermind where, and I've always done it, right? We've been doing that since 2012. So we're on a decade long of doing this month over month. We do it January through October because November and December are crazy enough, right? But what's interesting, Dave, is that when everyone was kind of, getting sunk into the refis, we kept that going, right? We, maybe my one-on-ones with my realtors maybe fell off a little bit, my direct marketing with some of them kind of fell off a little bit, but really just continuing my batch approach to my mastermind continued. And in some of those months, maybe, my numbers got as low as like only 6 to 8 realtors showing up. But this year, especially towards the summer, as things started getting really a little bit more of a rodeo, I mean, we've had, 20, 25, almost 30 just last week. And it's like a vacuum that we already had that platform. We've just been consistent with it and being able to help people understand what's going on. And I think one of the other big differentiators that we try and double down is I love to address the elephant in the room, right? Everyone's talking rate, everyone's talking program, and to be able to, and like the seller buy down. And I don't believe, as an investor and a buyer, real estate buyer myself, I don't like that strategy, right? And I think and that's where I love to, the first thing I say when a realtor calls me and says, okay, so the seller buy down thing, how should I do this? And what does this mean on this listing? And I say, it is a used car sales approach to selling real estate, right? And we're getting creative. We're just trying to get them in the door and in the payment, right? That's a used car sales approach, right? Is that really the highest and best use of them? And being able to show them through the tools in a Mortgage Coach of, along with what we think rates will do, what does that actually impact them? And so a lot of it is going against the grain in some ways to help realtors really feel like they're helping their people navigate, right? Not diminishing the obstacles that we have in the industry right now, but helping people navigate.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to seeing what you share. I do, audience, I was wrong. I said that the last time I interviewed Chris was pre-COVID, and I just noticed that I interviewed you actually, into COVID, like early into COVID, and it was how to do monthly realtor masterminds on Zoom. Like that was a new thing. And so it was in the middle of COVID, or the beginning of COVID. And then 3 years ago, I interviewed you on how to close more past client loans. So, which is another thing that's super important, is optimizing your database. And that's also cool. You and your company use both Sales Boomerang to monitor your database, and you also use Mortgage Coach to deliver an amazing presentation. So cool. So the only challenge I would
real quick, though.
Go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. I have an S at the end of my last name. I love you, Dave, but I'll catch you on that spelling correction.
Hallows, I got it. Oh, go ahead and correct it. So it wasn't what I said. It was, oh yeah, I'll get that fixed right now, man. Thank you for the.
No worries, no worries. We were going to have a genuine, organic conversation, so I'd catch you on that if we were sitting down at lunch.
Appreciate that, my brother. So talk to me about, you said I'm an educational focused loan officer. Describe how you are executing on that in the market. Like just walk us through, what does that mean in today's market? And specifically, how are you executing on that in a way that's helping you win in this market?
So a lot of this, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of, there could be plenty of criticisms of this, but in my mindset, I believe in being very honest and educating people. But I believe it is my role in profession and licensure to communicate on some of the things that impact a mortgage. So where I'm going with that is, I think it is very, like, I'm not that wishy-washy. I do love the line, date the rate, marry the house, divorce the landlord, right? I love that line, as it simplifies a lot of things. But I sit down, I have a consultative approach. I'm sitting down with every client, or doing a live or Zoom, but in every conversation, and Dave did not tell me to do this, but in every conversation, utilizing Mortgage Coach for every single conversation then allows us to broaden that and what that actually looks like. And we play with it, right? And I maybe I don't know, maybe I'm going to get in trouble for doing this, but in the sense of, like, I will show them, here is today, right? Here's the mortgage-backed security markets. here's why, and facts, right? These are all facts of here's why we are at where we're at with mortgage-backed securities. And so with that being the case, educating them on what are your goals? How long are you going to be in this home? Having that bigger, broader conversation, and then being able to talk through and even model it a little bit. And that's where I said, I don't get in trouble on some of that, to where I'll model that a little bit when they tell me like, okay, we want to buy this house. We're going to do 10% down, but hey, we really would love to build an addition to the home and I'm like, what's your timeline for that? Oh, 2 years. Okay. So let's start playing with the numbers. How do we do that? How does this join into conjunction with the refinance? What could rates potentially be? Let's play with the high and the low end on some things there and really help them model out so that not that I'm trying to sell them on a future that we don't know, but to help them understand that this is going to take management and I am the guy to manage it for them.
Yeah, I interviewed Cody Touche. I mentioned that earlier. And one of the quotes that he said is, I'm helping build a story of the future with facts. So, and that sounds like that's what you're doing in your market, is you're helping with data, with facts. You're making it personal based off the customer's goals and their assumption on what's going to happen to rates, and then local, based off local appreciation rates and what they believe rates and appreciation is going to do, and then you're showing a story. So why don't we do it now? And then I really want to find out how you're winning with realtors, because I have a feeling that in some of your realtor masterminds, you're killing it. So let's start with just what are some of the most common mortgage strategies you're using in today's market?
As far as with clients or realtors?
However you want to answer it, like whatever you think's more value. You know the audience. You got a bunch of either mortgage coaches that deliver advice or want to be mortgage coaches if they tune into this show because they want to elevate their advice. So what do you think would be more valuable?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is well, and it kind of goes to both a little bit. It's really just jumping into the elephant in the room, right? And talking about, yes, we're in a high rate environment, but that does not mean that this is a bad buy. And why am I saying that, right? So layering facts, right? Just like you're saying, building that story of facts of why we're at where we're at. And then, I love to, especially when we're talking about, clients may have spoken with another lender or a realtor may have another partner. And right now, so much of them are having like a used car sales approach to things, right? They're freaking out about things. And I love so many of our realtor partners, but let's be honest, like some of the conversations we were having 6 months ago, like I was even sitting down at lunch talking with the realtor, like how can we like structure a program where we do the seller's moving costs, right? Can we buy them a Peloton for the next house, right? Or it's just like, how can we solve that problem? And now realtors are coming up with all these different ideas on trying to solve this current problem, and some of them aren't good, right? Like I understand if it sells and gets someone in a house, like a 2-1 buy down is an interesting thing to talk about. I don't personally really believe in them. And so that's just in my market to be able to say, hey, when these other loan officers that don't swing as heavy as I do in my market are kind of selling these little flyers and things on it, that I'm able to say, hey, I modeled this out in MortgageCoach. Here's the client's goals. This is why I think take that as a price concession with your investor all day long. Don't sell them on a 2-1 buy down, right? Because it's not going to mean anything in 12 to 36 months when I refinance him, right? And we model that out, right? So that's my big thing
So
with clients.
let's model some of this out, man. Show us a TCA and teach us something.
Yeah. So I'll, do you want me to share my screen then?
Yeah.
And this one's a simple one, but maybe more so but I would use this in a client context and also in masterminds. Like I really decided.
Real quick, you have a video on it. What percentage of the time do you put a video on your TCAs? Ballpark.
So, and from our previous calls, if you listen to some of our previous calls, I'll be like, Dave, like I'm like 50%. Like I am like 95% now.
Nice. Good job, man.
You're my calls that pushed me on that. And so, even,
I'm a coach.
and it's the best practice, even if it's just hey, we spoke about this, like even if they're calling me and they parked and they're in their car, I have them pull up a TCA on their phone, right? If they haven't decided to really prioritize me, I tell them to be in front of a computer. But if they didn't, they're still put up on their phone. But at minimum, my video will say just something as to like how to navigate, right? Maybe touch on the strategy. Hey, we talked about buying in the $600,000 price range. Here's that. Here's how you see the payment. Here's how you see closing.
And by the way, let's do X out the video just so we can see all the numbers.
Yeah, sure.
I want to make sure. And by the way, go to the very top real quick. I just want to see how you brand it. Okay, picture yourself. You brand your team. So clean. Okay, make note, everybody. Make sure you got the right picture. Make sure you're branding your company and your team. So go ahead and scroll down now and show us, tell us. So that, oh, by the way, this is, so you really are like, hey, everybody is doing one thing. I want to kind of be provocative and let me show you the truth from your perspective.
Yeah, and it's somewhat unapologetic in that, where I just want to, and I think a lot of that is we've kind of in this conversation really that I'm an active, and I said to many people, right? I'm an active real estate owner and investor, and so I am looking at the strategies that I think are highest and best in the market with the individual's goals, and that's where. And to say, like, this was, I will disclaimer, this was our August mastermind. So our pricing is a little different. Don't think that, welcome. Our company's great, but we're not offering this right now, right? So as far as this is our August mastermind, so I pulled this up and just thought this was something, we've done some subsequent ones. So I am been actively utilizing this in our presentations with our realtors. So they know that their buyers get this tool, but helping them be more comfortable with it. And so we just modeled out and said, okay, if we go to 5% down conventional loan, we do a 1% rate buy down, we do 1% seller pay closing costs. So we take the money, but don't use it towards a buy down, or then we just do a 1% reduction. And while a lot of them initially could point out and say like, oh, the payments not nearly as it could have been, or as good as it could have been with the 1% buy down. And if that's a qualification sticking point, then that's a no brainer, right? But I really, we have a good mix. Yeah, and I'd say, at least right now, what I'm seeing, Dave, is more of the people buying homes right now are not in DTI crunches. So a buy down, it's more discretional, as at least what we're seeing in our market. The people that are buying are having to make concessions as far as not getting as much house, or having to deal with the payment that they're not super happy with, but it's not eliminating them from the buyer market. And so then in going forward, and then and we don't have a crystal ball, but and we play with this live with them, is I just updated my the 6 months, and this is going to pop over to 12 months here in a second, but to model that out and say, sure, over time that looks good, but if we're really seeing the 12 or 24-month perspective, it does model out live fairly quickly usually with the bandwidth on that shows that they're actually that we're
just
saving money.
Refresh the screen. Because you're pushing Zoom, you've got we have some mild internet connection issues. Actually, go over to the advice engine real quick. I want to see something real quick. Go over to where you actually created this. And guys, I want to give you guys a little tip. No, the creation screen. We call it the advice engine.
Yeah.
Where you made it. Oh yeah, there we go. So, by the way, click on settings real quick in the upper right-hand corner. Yeah, boom. So guys, by the way, check that out. He's created 4,329 TCAs. Years ago, he hadn't done any videos, or done few. He's done 1,288. And then notice how many times they viewed. They on average 5 times your videos are getting viewed. They're getting shared. Like one link is getting shared a bunch of times. So, anyways, great job, bro. Anyways, go back to that story you were telling, that strategy you were teaching.
Yeah. And then essentially just jumping back to show, and I think I got something funky going on there. I think I was editing sorry, I got so many different screens in the Zoom going on here. So we are back in the market scenes. Let me jump back into the back end of that and just show that basically over the short term, like when we think they'll likely refinance, that spending points or even temporary points on something over a short period, short duration is maybe not the best idea, right? And so and if anything, right, again, like I can fully appreciate, let's see if I pull this up here. Yeah, I got something funky going on there. I'm pulling, oh, you know what it is? I'm updating the wrong one. We're in one TCA, I'm updating the wrong one here. So let me jump into this real quick because I had 2 TCAs and I was editing one over the other. So that was the second TCA we're going to talk about. So this will make a lot more sense if I don't have, okay. So when it's me and a client or me and a realtor versus me and Dave in the mortgage coach community, it's a little slicker. But so as we jump into, and this will update now shortly, into the 60 months, as I just updated that in. Oh,
Yes.
the right one. So, yeah, so that's where, yes, could that strategy still serve someone on market? Absolutely. But in me talking about, that I believe for the majority of people, and majority can be 51%, right? Is that they need to understand this. Here you go. So finally updated there, that we are better off in other strategies potentially versus, just taking if they're going to give you concessions, let's take in a run, right? And pay our closing costs, maybe trickle over into a price reduction, but, just as a pure rate buy down for the rate buy down sake, just to get an emotional rate. It's not a cocktail party rate, right? We talked to them about, or called them that at 2.5. And so them buying down the rate right now, they're still not going to be bragging about, a 6.7 or something, right? So that's the reality. Oh, I think you're muted, Dave. Are you there?
I was muted. Sorry. I just said, love it. Great job. Any other total cost analysis you want to show, or other strategies that you're doing in the mountain or doing in the market? Are you doing the date the rate, marry the house, at all, or your version of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying is, like, on a client TCA, we model out and show some hypotheticals a little bit on helping them understand, okay, this is your monthly payment goal. And a lot of it in saying right now, my mindset is we don't want to buy uncomfortably. So let's find the payment that, hey, it's maybe pushing things, but it's still within relative comfort zone, knowing that when rates hopefully come down, then it's going to feel even better. It's not going from uncomfortable to comfortable. So it helps us define that and define shopping points for them. The one other cost analysis, though, and this one's a pretty simple one, is so just going out there, talking with my realtor partners, and then just asking them the question of what can I do for them? How can I help them? What do they need? And some of our, one of my best partners just said, hey, he's a broker. He manages a lot of different agents that we work with as well. And he said, things are changing so fast right now. If you could just send us on Friday afternoons, send us kind of the market talking points. And you always like, because we have that kind of positive spin on things, we definitely tune in. It's like Barry Habib, MBS Highway. And so I'm using some of those talking points. And then I send an updated cost analysis because they want to know what are the rates and what are the rates doing, so they can help me set proper expectations. And it's just that they want to be, solid professionals on that. They don't want to be talking about a rate from 2 weeks ago because that rate is not today's rate. And that actually has been something that I'll send this out to now. So with that brokerage, and then started it with one other, that I'm sending this out to about 30 agents on a Friday. I haven't, I kind of keep it a little bit exclusive to these particular groups that requested it, but I'll get, 4 or 5 responses or some additional follow-up every week. And so just because the market is moving so quickly right now, and me using MortgageCoach to help show them what's going on and give them an idea of what rates are doing and send out in that newsletter, that's been a super cool value add that we've done in the last couple of months, just to share.
I love it. I love it. Do you mind sharing links to these total cost analysis?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
And then the nice thing is I'll update rates to market super easily. I'll update the date, and then the link, I use a copy and paste email, so the same link goes out to that group every time. And it's, there's just a lot of engagement with it.
So stop sharing the screen real quick. I want to share something and get your feedback on it. So one of the things I am working hard to do as the Chief Innovation Officer for MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang, it's turning a realtor's database into a data bank. And so a lot of loan officers think that your database is just made up of past customers. And so I always tell loan officers that no, your database is, should be your active pipeline. It should be all your realtors, CPAs, financial planners, people that didn't qualify. And then you should be adopting databases from realtors. Like that should be a goal. Uh, and 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 I tell the story like this: like the average, financial planners get paid every year on their database. It's called assets under management. Life insurance agents and insurance agents get paid every year on their database, book of business, and loan officers could get paid every year on their database. It's called mortgages under management. And then the other kind of the footnote of that is realtors could be getting paid every year on their database. It's called working with a data-driven mortgage advisor who has mortgages under management. Now that's powered by sales Boomerang. Like by the way, these slides, I'm creating like a slide kit for mortgage coaches to be able to go out and give a presentation to an agent. And this is kind of how the presentation would go. It's like, hey, agent, this is what all the data looks like in your CRM. And it could look like a lot better. I get an alert every time there's a listing. I get alerts, when credit improves. I get alert when someone's out shopping for a home. And then your company has Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang. And so really making the case that I'm getting all of these signals, I'm like, I know the debt. I know how much tappable equity people have, like really turning your database into a search engine for opportunities for me as a lender, opportunity for you as a realtor. And then of course, I can give all these next level presentations. Now if I was presenting to realtors, I wouldn't be talking about debt consol loans. I'd be talking about move ups, first time home buyers. I'd be talking, I'd be telling like this, by the way, this is a brand spanking new loan officer. First year in his business. No, that's not him. Where's my new loan officer? Oh, this is it. This guy's like on his 10th month in the business, and he's crushing loan officers that have been doing this for decades.
I love it.
Who, by the way, used to be like the top producer in their market. And he's coming in, and this was a lead where it was actually, he got this realtor who had this long-term loan officer relationship from a loan officer that knew how to do a fee worksheet and close a loan on time, but she didn't know how to do this. Like the person had just said, hey, I don't want to buy for a year. And the agent knew that this new loan officer had some skills. And one of the skills was a mortgage coach rent versus own analysis. And he basically showed, hey, here's renting. Here is a rate buy down strategy. Now you would probably say, no, let's do a 2-1 buy down or an ARM because you're not into that. But this is what I'm sure you would love is it was a 3-bedroom house. It was a single first time home buyer. And he told the buyer you could rent out 2 of those bedrooms for $650 each and invest those with a financial planner and look what your net worth could be in 5 years. So it was like rent versus house hacking. And by the way, this buyer is now either in escrow or close to being in escrow. Like they're off the fence. And the seasoned multi-decade top producer, couldn't tell the story, couldn't use data to create a narrative. What are your thoughts on that?
What a lot of it comes down to, so my team, we've been running so hard like everyone else the last 24 months. And I would probably say to a lot of people in the mortgage industry that they've accomplished certain things in their life that they never thought possible, right? That's probably pretty fair. And so I kind of had to step back, just thinking like, what do I want to do? Like when I'm creating passive income and different things other ways, it's like, how hard do I want to swing? What do I want to do here? And I love what I do. And I think when my team is sitting down talking about our branding house, our big idea is I want to be people's friend, the lender, but I want to do it at scale. So that becomes very, very difficult. And so when it comes to how can I you know, and so talking with my team on everything that we do, from the emails to the communication to the closing process to then the post-closing, you know, mortgages under management mentality needs to be, what would their friend do? Because if I can be that to them, I'm really good at being people's friend, right? If I was going to text them and say, hey, you know, I remember you wanted to remodel, or if I was going to text them and say, hey, I've seen that your house is, you know, appreciated and there's some opportunity. I know you want to get into investments. You know, we could pull a HELOC and we could do that. But the scale that I want to operate my business, I can't be everyone's friend by my own, or like on my own. And so that's where, you know, my partnership with technology and tools and resources like Sales Boomerang allows me to be people's friend, right? Someone that cares, and I can scale my love, as I like to call it, right? That I'm going to scale my love to them so that that I am engaged in their life. No, they don't have to be like, you know, the person I run to at church, or, you know, someone in my day-to-day life, but I could still connect with them as their friend. And that's really where I feel we can differentiate, right? Because that's what tech can't do.
Tell me if you like this. This is a new shirt, you know, that we're working on. You know, right now I wear the you know, no borrow left behind shirt. But tell me if you like a new shirt that we're working on. Financial friend with benefits.
Now, my wife wouldn't like me having any other friends with benefits, but I like the idea. I like the concept.
Yeah. So we're working on this right now because, you know, we believe that, by the way, that's what everybody wants. They want to do their loan with a financial friend. You know, and that's our whole thesis in Mortgage Coach and Boomerang is literally be calling someone because you have the data. You know how much tappable equity you have, you know what their credit is, you know what their business goals or their personal goals are, and to literally be calling them up, not spamming them, you know, staying top of mind with things they don't care about, but you're calling up and just giving them advice. You know, you're calling up and being their financial friend. I mean, that's our business model.
Yeah, because a friend knows what's important to a friend. And that's where and we have that solution. So it really is something underplayed, and now gets into it. And ever since, you know, and we ran into each other at Sales Mastery, it was such a great Sales Mastery, and I needed to lean into it, and I drunk from the Kool-Aid really hard. So I've apologized like daily to my wife and to my team of like, I'm just running, right? I'm just running. You're gonna have to bear with me here, because and that's where, you know, and part of that, I'm like, guys, you know, I tell my LOs that we have this unique perspective and knowledge. Like, we understand, like, sure, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we understand in a large part, you know, a lot of the moves that people could need to make in some of the communities where they live in, and that this is a tough economy. There are some strong price increases in places, but we have kind of the hacks to help, like, come alongside someone as their friend. And I really do truly believe in the kumbaya of, like, we're going to be helping homeowners and amass wealth and get in these communities where they might not be able to get in these communities if they don't make decisions in the next, you know, 12 months versus 5 years from now, right? And so, like, we are really a key of a lot of opportunity for people, and we need to believe it. We need to be their friend.
I love this. I love that, you know, being a local financial friend. I mean, that I might make that the power of becoming, you know, I don't know. I'll figure out what the headline is when we work this on YouTube. You know, you came to a punchline that we've been talking a lot about as a company. As you know, now our mission is that all borrowers can achieve financial freedom, and you know, that's our vision of the world. And our mission is to empower lenders and loan officers to be that friend for clients over the course of a lifetime. You know, like. And what does the lender get? They get a lifetime relationship of doing loans and being that financial provider. And what does the family get? They get financial freedom faster because they're using data and they're getting advice. So dude, this has been pretty amazing. What is some, if we're going to close, I guess I want to close out with, because I went and watched Socia Vila do a realtor, it wasn't a mastermind, but he had like 20 baller agents, and he presented to them for about an hour. And actually, that just hit our YouTube channel today. And I got his slides. You know, I saw him do it. But what mortgage coach strategies are you integrating into your realtor masterminds right now? And what are some of the hot things that you're talking about and teaching at realtor masterminds right now?
Yeah, and so so on those two questions there, the big thing in utilizing Mortgage Coach is, the numbers don't lie. And I love that where I'm educated through Mortgage Coach all the time. Like I'll be sitting there live with the client, and then as we're talking and exploring things, and they say, well, maybe what does this look like? And we model it, and we're like, oh, maybe actually today buying down that interest rate a little bit on an investment, even though I just sold against it, right? That I'm an honest guy to say like, oh, maybe today in today's market, there's a little, if you spend an extra half a point, and based on us, on that client's belief, maybe thinking they'll be more 18 to 36 months out because we can model that all, right? And I think, so that's where really in the mastermind, modeling things, right? Let's not just think seller concessions are a good idea. Let's model it and let the numbers teach, right? And so that's what we do, have been doing a lot with where rates are increasing. Then what does that really mean, right? And we, at the very, very first of this year, with anticipating rate rises, not saying we called it, we didn't call this, right? But we talked about, hey, with prices, especially that we were still in that price acceleration, just talking about their need in that same world, the world that you and I are in, just saying we need to help people right now. I took Mortgage Coach and actually modeled that to say, okay, here's the type of income. You guys don't see this. This is the qualifying world. Here's the type of income that someone would need to get an entry-level house today. Where does that keep going? Where does that person just drop off the market, right? So and then talking about, all the way up to the luxury market, what type of decisions are those people going to have to make if rates or prices go certain directions? So it's really just helping them really dollarize that and monetize that to know like, oh my gosh, if I don't help that luxury buyer get off the fence and buy that house now, I am costing them multiple six-figure like per year type situations, right? And so it's just helping the numbers motivate, because I think that we talk about a lot of different ideas in real estate, but the numbers modeling. So that's the Mortgage Coach side of things. As far as like what we're talking, like right now it's just that long ball game of real estate, right? And helping them understand. I mean, we saw a slide, we do a lot of keeping current matters, and the slide that from 1991 to current, real estate is up by 483%, right? And so it's just like helping people understand, like it's the good fuzzies of, magical elixir of appreciation and owning your own home and all these different factors that we're just having, the mainstream media, it just loves to paint this bleak picture, and we are definitely just not participating in it. But our realtors, our local realtors, they get some of it from their brokers, but like you said, I think they need good partners and good mortgage partners. I mean, I'm obviously biased in that, but to help them feel that attitude every day to get up and win.
Are you, when you do these, are you sharing any slides? Are you sharing data?
Yep, we do a slide presentation.
What slides are you using? PowerPoint?
Yeah.
What, will you mind just taking us through one of your sample decks, or
Yep.
showing us a little something?
Yep, that is.
I'm finding that almost all the loan officers I know that are taking market share in this market are, they've got some insights, whether it's a PowerPoint, whether it's a Google Docs. Soci is using this one platform called, oh man, I'll find it. I'll actually show it because his slides were so sweet.
And that's where I think there is a vacuum right now, Dave. And that's the crazy thing, is when a lot of people are going to be like, kind of, I don't know. And I don't want to be responsible if you buy out at the wrong time. So I'm just going to kind of back off, that there's a vacuum. And not that we're going to come in with like all sorts of made up, sugar-coated ideas here, but it just is, it's just a fact that a lot of people are needing facts and direction right now. And so that's where I've seen our mastermind group has just grown and grown.
Show me what you got. And then guys, I will show you some associate slides from this meeting on Monday, and I'll show you where you can get a link to those. I'm starting to share.
So, and and part of what I like to do as well, so you'll like this one, hopefully here, Dave. This was, all right, here we go here. Went with a nice 70s theme this year. So, yeah, so we like to dress that up a lot. But what we, is, so certain things, like we're sharing these, and we like to have a conversation, right? And so having to help people understand, like, there's nothing you can do about 25% of the market. They're not going to buy. 25% of the market's moving here. They're just going to buy. And then 50% of the people are stuck on the fence. And so just having, then actually, like, I don't come in saying, like, here, I'm the know-it-all guru, but actually being able to sit with my realtor partners and say, okay, what do sellers really want right now? How can they get it? And this was really big when we were just seeing all these rate increases, and this is August, September, and wanting to help them understand, you know, and getting down, you know, to that why they're wanting to buy or to sell, and helping them understand that they might think they want the highest price in the market, but what they really want is to get out of this house, you know, downsize, simplify their life, go move to a retirement area, or, you know, it's like what people really want, they probably can't have, right? And it was kind of our approach to this one. So really just having a dialogue, right? Using a lot of dialogue. In this particular one, we did, I'm trying to see if we used a mortgage coach in this particular one. We did. So I'll get down to there really quick, is then when we get to, you know, so we shared some market data and things of where we thought the future could be heading. And then
I'm noticing some keeping current matters slides, which guys I really recommend.
Totally.
You know, one, subscribing to that, and two, they've got a blog, Keeping Current Matters blog, fantastic resource of content.
So again, in the vein of trying to be provocative sometimes, basically saying, like, short of you wanting to put your tinfoil hat on, or I actually told them they could call this company up and see if they could sell bunkers. Like, real estate's going to be around, right? Like, we can't get into the sky's falling mindset, right? And so that's when we jump into MortgageCoach. So here you go. I use it more than I think, Dave, to where we basically
by the way,
talk about.
I love this TCA. Someone else did this today. Oh, John Downs in his interview did this a couple days ago.
So what we actually did is, when people are thinking this, so the root of this one is like, you might think you missed the boat. And so it says, hey, if you bought in 2021 and then here, you know, you bought in 2022, so you think you're going to wait and things are going to get materially better in 2023. And all these projections are even more, you know, saying, you know, I know I'm not on the Ivy Zelman track, but I said, hey, flat, no appreciation, rate drops a full point, and that's even lower than Barry's projecting at this point, potentially. And so just to say, okay, you get that deal, but you're going to refinance anyways at some point in time. Again, we don't know this entirely for sure, but if all that comes to fruition, are they really better buying up or waiting a year to buy, or just finding the right house and buying now? So that was very much that opportunity cost analysis, with then showing the, you know, I'll pop into the slide on that and just say, okay, over the next 15 years, the buyer that eventually refinanced is really not significantly worse off than the person that, you know, got the amazing rate.
Will you forward me this TCA as well? I mean, this is actually, this is different than what I saw from John Downs, and this is cool. I like how you're actually showing two refis. And by the way, guys, he's basically selling three loans. You know, he's getting the consumer comfortable with buying a house. He's, you know, talking about the potential of rates going down, which Dan Rawich today in his update said that he absolutely thinks rates are going back into the threes, just a question of when. And by the way, no one knows, so don't be selling that. Like, just, but there are a lot of economists predicting that, so this is incredible.
Well, and that's where then going down to when you start talking about that opportunity cost here of, let's see, and then, so I actually did that on a mid-range for market. I mean, our median home price is in about 570 right now, or average. And then I did it in the, let's see here, the luxury as well, because we're starting to see that market
smart market relevant. Yeah, he's making it market relevant. So average.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, and that's where that, you know, so I started my own little podcast, and I was interviewing the president of our state association, super sharp guy and a good friend of mine. And he was saying that people need to realize that they are paying off a house. It's either theirs or someone else's, right? And that's powerful. And when we then talk about that opportunity cost of, like, okay, you're going to wait the next year or two and find the bottom of it, but all the while you're spending money, right? And so that's where we just tried to say, like, we can't stick our heads in the sand and start believing that there's going to be a better or substantially better time, right? There's costs and variables all the way into it. So I
Love
repurposed
it.
this. I ended and repurposed this COVID meme.
That's
Did you see
funny.
this COVID meme?
What's that?
Did you ever see this COVID meme?
No, I didn't.
No, the COVID meme was like, how did you survive COVID? And every loan officer can attest to this. The dad just says, I worked. I went to work. And then he said, effing legend. So I've got it safe for work now. But yeah, so we just have to call people right now.
Yeah, hey, go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Whatever Chris shares with me, I will put it in notes. And I just want you guys to see how it works. So this is actually a video it's in our YouTube channel. It's towards the top. And Sosi actually came over to my house after this realtor meeting. He's local to me here in Newport. And then I had him walk through his slides. So I just want you to see, like, when you're watching this interview with Chris, I'll have links to his TCAs down here. This is actually a link to the slides that Sosi used. So, I thought it was a pretty cool use of whatever you call this thing.
QR code.
QR code.
QR code.
QR code. He walked. He had very specific objectives. He walked them through. I'm just going to flip really quick. I recommend, that everybody has some slides, that he's got some insights. He's telling the narrative the way he wanted to tell the narrative. And then of course, he's talking about strategies. And what do you know, before you know it, he's gonna be using a TCA to walk people through things. He did a cost of waiting. But I just want you guys to see that the best loan officers that are gaining market share, they're building a story of the future with some facts. They're using technology, MortgageCoach. They're using technology to predict who's most likely to buy, sell, or refinance a home, sales Boomerang. And then, by the way, they're all just really nice people that want to help people. No, seriously, like, think about it. Like, you're a nice, cool dude who's growing a family in Flagstaff. You're local, and you just want to be people's financial friend. So it's just a perfect combination of how to win in this market. So, any closing thoughts for anybody? Usually, the folks that are watching this are either loan officers that are mortgage coaches and are always just looking for something, or people that are like, I've heard about this thing, MortgageCoach, and I should use it. Any closing thoughts for everybody?
Yeah, I just think right now in this market that we're all in a situation where if we will it, it will be, right? That we just need to utilize the tools that we have and actually use them, and that the awesome opportunities of wealth creation that are out there, regardless of up market, down market, like, we have some amazing futures and opportunities in front of us. So we need to just lean into it.
I love it, man. I love your energy, brother. If you could send over those links and the presentation, anything you're willing to share, and they'll be down below in YouTube. And this is a wrap, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Give us a like. Make sure you're following us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Take care, y'all.